What's up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming into the review of Martyr's brand new album, Dark Believer. Okay, so here's a brand new band for me. I just saw the name and I'm like, hey, this sounds pretty good, right? The promo said they are a powerhouse metal band, one word powerhouse. So not power metal, but powerhouse metal. I like the sound of that. Having listened to the album now, I can say powerhouse metal is a pretty fun descriptor. When I say it sounds like 80s metal, I don't mean it's a terribly derivative thing. I don't mean that it's just trying to be drunk all the time. I think it sounds way more like Crimson Glory than it sounds like Motley Crue. Don't get me wrong, there are riffs, there's double bass drumming, and there's all the energy and abandon of 80s metal, but there's almost like a vampiric effect on it. You know, it's darker, but also kind of romantic. It's a lot more sophisticated than songs that say, man, that girl is hot. Basically, the same energy, but darker. Crimson Glory was the main band I got out of this, but it also sounds kind of like Accept in some parts, and a lot of times it sounds like a lot of different bands that Ripper Owens has sung in. I don't really know how, but whatever common thread is there other than his shrieks seems to be permeating this music. All right, let's talk about some songs. Darkness Before Dawn. Really nice 80s metal vibes, like I'm saying, Crimson Glory-ish, and the vocals are kind of like Ripper, not with the trademark shriek, but with everything else about his voice. Really fun double bass drumming. It's in the key of A, which just screams old 80s, like, you know, metal. The good old days before everything was tuned down to drop Z. Cemetery Symphony. At first, this sounds like the coolest combination of Queensryche and AC/DC ever, but then somehow, like I was saying, sounds like everything Ripper has ever been in except for probably Iced Earth. Riffs are a little Queensryche-ish, but otherwise, I don't know, this could have sounded like KK's Priest, could have sounded like what I think I remember Beyond Fear sounded like. It's a great track. Insidious. It's like a faster, Merciful Fate. That's a band where I always love the riffs, but, you know, they're more mid-tempo, and that's fine. But here it sounds like that if they were all on steroids or something. Or caffeine, maybe? Merciful Fate is a band that also I thought of as haunting. I mean, they were going for, like, horror stories with stuff like Melissa. It just worked better at a slower tempo for them. Here we get to hear what it sounds like. Faster. Harvest of Souls. By the way, these are, like, the coolest song titles ever. Harvest of Souls. The intro's a lot like the Ultraviolence. I mean, listen to that and tell me it's not uncanny. But for the rest of the song, I was reminded of Vicious Rumors. It's oddly thrashy given the rest of the album, but it still works. It's funny because I'm talking about how they sound faster than a lot of the bands I was comparing to. And then when they start to sound like bands that are generally fast, I'm like, whoa, that's weird. It's not. And lastly, let's talk about the closer, Legions of the Cross. This is a great Priest-like track, except I think it sounds more like KK's Priest. Seriously, was Ripper like a ghostwriter on most of these songs or something? And I love the two KK's Priest albums, by the way. I'm not saying it's derivative. I just don't think any band really sounds like Judas Priest, but you can always hear the influence. And a lot of bands that were influenced by Judas Priest are great, too. Maybe I should just say Primal Fear going forward. Okay, so killer 80s style metal. As I started to read the blurb about the band, it turns out they've been around since the 80s, so of course they sound 80s style. They were apparently on Metal Massacre 6. That's the thing that gave their break to Metallica and I think Black and Blue and a whole lot of other metal bands. So glad to finally be hearing them 4 decades later. Now I'm asking myself whether I'm backwards and saying they sound like Crimson Glory. Maybe Crimson Glory sounds like these dudes, huh? Well, instead of just squabbling over that kind of thing, we should all just listen to it and enjoy it and acknowledge what a great thing they have. Thanks, dudes. Rock on.